make the memory wire wrap bracelet, you'll need memory wire, and memory wire retains its shape. It stays in this coil, this circle shape, which is why it's called memory wire. You can't really bend it out of that, it bounces back. Looks like a slinky. You'll want bracelet size. You'll also need a selection of beads. We're going to change beads every coil as we go around making the wrap, so we have about 7 different kinds of beads here, including some seed beads. You can use whatever beads you like. You'll also need charms for the end of the bracelet for each end. And then for tools, you'll need round nose pliers and wire cutters, but don't use your good ones, just use wire snips. The first thing we want to do is cut a piece of memory wire, and for this bracelet we're going to do 8 coils. So we're going to find the end of this stack of memory wire here. This is the end, and we want 8 complete coils. So this goes around to here is 1 coil, to here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is to here. And then we don't want to cut it exactly at the same length here because we need some extra to put some ends on it with our charms. So I'm going to give it about an inch or a little more than an inch over to here. So it goes from here around 8 times and then a little extra to here. And I'm going to use my not good wire cutters and cut the memory wire. Now we're going to bend an end into one end of the memory wire. Let me flip that over since I've got this end in my hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a small loop, and we're going to put the charm on that small loop. And to make the loop, I'm going to take my round nose pliers, I'm going to grab the memory wire, and I'm going to bend it around the round nose pliers. It's very hard wire, which is how it stays in this coil. So I've got to give it a little extra oomph. Before I finish that loop though, I want to put this charm on it. So I've grabbed the charm here with my round nose pliers. I'm going to slide that on. Oh, it's going to be facing backwards. Let me do that again. See how it's facing in towards the bracelet? I want it to face the other way. So I'm going to put it on. Oops. There, now it's facing the right way. And then I'm going to finish making my loop all the way around. So I have a complete loop. This loop will keep the beads from sliding off of the memory wire when we start feeding it on. And then we'll finish with a loop just like that. The next step is to feed our beads onto the coil, and this is the end where we put the loop. I'm going to put this at the bottom of the coils so that we have the straight end to feed the beads onto. So I'm finding my end is here, and I'm going to feed on 1 complete coil's worth of beads. I'm going to start with these gold beads here, and I'm just going to feed them on one at a time until I have a complete coil of this color bead. When you're picking out your beads, you'll want to make sure that you pick out beads that fit on the memory wire, because the memory wire is a little bit thicker than other wires, and pearls, for example, won't fit on it. So just test your beads. So now I'm going to check to see if I have a complete coil's worth, and to do that I need to feed them all to the bottom. So I'm just rotating this around. I'm pushing the bottom beads, I'm pushing the beads around on the coil so that they go all the way to the bottom of the slinky. I'm just going to rotate, rotate, rotate. Push, push, push. This will be the first coil on the bracelet, will be these gold beads. And they'll go around till they hit that stopper we made with the charm. So they're almost to the bottom here. I'll turn it so you can see. Now I've got the underside showing. And we have almost a complete loop here. I'm just letting it sit and rest on itself. I think we need about 1, 2, 3 more beads. I'm going to flip this back over and feed on 3 more beads on the end. You have to find that end. It gets hidden in the slinky. Here's the end. So now I'm going to feed on 3 more beads. 1, 2, whoops, 2, 3. Now I'm going to switch colors. So I'm going to switch to the blue. And I'm just going to do the same thing with each color. I'm going to feed on enough beads that when I push it down to the end of the bracelet, it makes a complete coil all the way around. And after I do all the blue, I'll switch to another color and another color until I have 8 coils, each one a different bead. So we've got all our beads on the coil, and you can see that they change. Every time it goes around, it's changing beads. So from the other side, it looks like a bunch of different wraps, but it's all one wrap. And now we're going to finish it off by making a loop in the end. This is that extra wire that we gave ourselves. We don't need that much wire to make that small loop. So I'm going to take the wire cutters. I'm going to give myself about 1/2 inch. You can give yourself a little bit extra because you can trim it after you make the loop. So I cut that off. To make the loop, I'm going to grab the wire here at the end with the round nose pliers, and it requires a little strength, but I'm going to bend it around. I'm bending it just around the shape of the round nose pliers here. I'm going to leave a little opening there so I can put on my charm and feed on the charm here. Whoop. Onto the loop so that the face of it is outside, facing the outside. And then I'm going to finish the loop all the way around. And like I said, if you have a little extra wire there, you can just keep rolling like that. And then you can go in here where it overlaps slightly. You can trim that with your wire cutters. Mine doesn't overlap enough to trim it, but if you have a piece sticking out, you can trim it. So now we've got our charms on the end of our memory wire wrap bracelet. We've got all these different wraps that are changing every time it goes around.